Okay, Mr. Cutler, when the union says that there are high school students who are working here at the HEC Center, answering 911 calls, emergency calls, your response to that is what?
We do not have students answering the 911 phone line.
Where would they get these allegations from?
We're thinking a recent news story put out by a retired employee is a case of mistaken identity. We hired in June of 2006, we hired some high school for law enforcement graduates to be permanent employees. They would work the 911 phone lines and they would work the non-emergency phone lines. The supervisor who was the subject of the story said that he retired July 24th. The co-op program began July 19th and the high school seniors who were in the program ended classroom training on July 19th and they never went to the call floor for hands-on training until August 7th. So the supervisor in question wasn't physically here when they were undergoing the training on the floor.
So what do you think the union is trying to do, if they're trying to do anything?
My personal opinion is that there's contract negotiations going on now, and I think that some statements are being made, some misinformation is being spread to possibly leverage the city into a better negotiating position for the union.
When you hire high school students here who are still in high school, what would their roles be?
High school students, we hire them as if they have to be seniors. They have to come from the high school for law enforcement. They can't come from any other high school. They work in our IT section, they work in our admin section, and they also work on the non-emergency 10-digit police phone line.
When they bring up the issue of it appearing in the city newsletter / magazine City Savvy, where a supervisor here gave praise to a high school student for handling a 911 suicide call, is that correct?
She was a graduate at the time that she handled that call. She handled the call on June 4th. She had graduated out of May 26th. The article was a summer 07 article. So it's somebody who just recently graduated from the high school for law enforcement, who just recently left the co-op program, who people are thinking is still a high school student. Same way the supervisor thinks that these recent graduates that we hired were high school co-op students, when in fact they weren't.
Is it a good idea to have high school students working here? In the past, officials here have said this is a high-stress job, high-turnover job. Is it a good idea to have young kids working here?
I don't want to call them young kids. They're actually legally adults. They're young adults. And yes, it's a good idea to get them exposed to this environment. They come from the high school for law enforcement. They're going into a law enforcement career either as a police officer, as a firefighter, or into the support profession, which is taking emergency calls. As a matter of fact, we have high school students, recent graduates, going to Iraq carrying M16s and driving tanks. And I think that's a lot more stressful than answering the phone call.